The Friends of UNH Women's Hockey present Coach's Corner with head coach Brian McCloskey.
The UNH women's hockey team won their third consecutive Hockey East tournament in a great battle on Sunday against Providence College with a 1-0 nail-biting victory. Hi, I'm Phil Kincaid for the Friends of UNH Women's Hockey, and welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm here, as always, with head coach Brian McCloskey. Well, Coach, Providence head coach Bob Delaney said after the game that it was a classic battle in this long-standing rivalry, and I guess he hit that nail right on the head.
Yeah, he did. We've had so many terrific games with Providence over the last 6 years that I've been involved with the women's side, and it's a rivalry that goes back decades, and another chapter in a long and storied rivalry between these two great programs. You knew what you were going to get. There was no question in my mind that the game was going to be tight, checking, fiercely fought, and that's exactly what we got. And when we got up 1-0 late in the first, we had several good chances. I thought we played a very strong first, and when we didn't capitalize on a couple of our terrific scoring opportunities in the first period, we had a couple breakaways. I started wondering because you got a sense at that point this is not going to be a very high-scoring game, and you don't want to miss too many. And when Sam finally broke through, that I think was pivotal because I think the first period really carried us that day, and that it sort of put them back on their heels. They responded as I knew they would, but we were able to stem the tide, I guess, and hold them off. I kept hoping we'd get a second goal, create a little bit of a buffer there. But, in some ways not getting the second goal was a good thing, too. It forced us to have to really battle tooth and nail right down to the final buzzer.
Well, is that what is good about a game like this in the sense that it helps build mental toughness? Because, going into the NCAA tournaments, there's very rarely a blowout. They're usually 1-2 goal games where you have to play a game knowing that one mistake could make the difference.
Yeah, I think that's, and I think that's true for probably most of the teams that are in this tournament moving forward now. When you make the NCAA Elite Eight, you're probably going to be, obviously, you're going to be paired against someone who's your equal, but most of those teams have had a mixed bag of results. They've had games where they were comfortably won, and then they've had some where they've really had to fight, and there's no question the game we played against Providence is more indicative of what we're going to see moving forward.
A lot of great storylines came out of Sunday's game. I'm thinking, first of all, Kaylee Herman only faced 17 shots, but a half dozen of those shots were grade A opportunities, and fortunately, she was grade A plus.
Yeah, Kaylee did a yeoman's job on Sunday. She's been, we've said it over the course of the season. Kaylee's been remarkable for a freshman. She's been, freshman or senior, she's been an outstanding goaltender. But to consider that she's a freshman, she's got the right demeanor on top of being a highly skilled kid. She knows. She knows how to control her emotions, and she's certainly the consistency that she's given us in the net this year has been remarkable. But she raised her game on Sunday. She didn't have the quality or the quantity of shots maybe that the Providence netminder faced, but in the third period with the game on the line, 10 minutes to go, there were several saves she had to make. One was spectacular, and truthfully, from the bench where I was sitting, I didn't think she was going to get across, and she did. Kaylee's been she's been a difference maker for us this year. When you win 32 games over a long competitive schedule like we have, there's a lot of things have to go right, but it starts in the net, and there's no question Kaylee's been she's just been a real backbone for us all year.
Another great story is Maggie Joyce. We talked about her before, a player who came in, sort of had to remake her college game a little bit, and this has been a breakout year for her, and it kind of culminates with her being named to the all-tournament team.
Yeah, Maggie's we have a lot of players that get notoriety or get recognition because we put up a lot of points. And then we have some players that don't get near the attention that they deserve, but that's the nature of sport. And what I think I'm most impressed about Maggie's case is, as you noted, when she was in high school, which is very typical for an athlete, she played one style. in our at our level, she's had to modify and adapt. But what she does incredibly well is she's defensively as sound as we have. One of the better defensemen, I think, in the country. And, she's simplified her game. She knows what we expect from her, and she was a real stalwart for us on the weekend. And, she has been all year. Maggie's had a great year. Again, it's a quiet year because, she's got probably 10 points, which is nothing to sneeze at. But, she's not in that genre of the Bobby Orr, Phil Housley offensive defenseman, which truthfully was more the role she played in high school. She's really evolved her game, in my opinion, to a higher level where she can still be an effective offensive generator, but her primary role and her primary job is to hold us in the back end and be consistent for us back there. And her size, her reach, everything plays into it. And that was a very well-deserved award that she got on Sunday.
Now it's time to head to the NCAA tournament. First game is here Saturday at 1 o'clock against another longtime nemesis, St. Lawrence College.
Yeah, well, this is the sequel, I guess, and we're hoping for a different result. But a lot of respect for Paul's team. I look at their roster, I go down their lineup, very similar teams. And we saw them, it's kind of the bookend season because we opened with them, and now the NCAAs, one of us is going to end our season with this final contest. And I think what we expect is a terrific hockey game. I mean, they lost in overtime to Harvard this past weekend. They've got, the interesting thing about Paul's team is I've always admired the way they play, and because they're a skilled team, they skate and they handle the puck well, and they're very intelligent. So they're not going to beat themselves. And it's going to come down to, as it did last time when they were here. They capitalized on some situations. I remember the game very well. It ended up 6-2, but it really, much like our games early in the season with them, the scores aren't always indicative of the play. And, in the middle of that game, there were a number of situations that occurred that had they gone this way or that way, or we'd forced the attack, we could have turned the tables. But it's going to be a game that I think I expect will be very tight scoring. Both teams can score. That's one thing that, could I see a 4-3 game? Yes, I could. But both teams obviously are very, very good with the puck defensively, too. So it could be low scoring, it could be high scoring. The thing about both teams is that they respect each other, and we're used to, having seen them last year here, played them every season for, I think, since I've been on board. We're used to each other in the sense that both teams know the styles of play, and with the Frozen Four berth on the line, it should be an exciting contest.
Do you think that the fact that you did lose last year to them on home ice gives you any kind of emotional advantage, or do you think the team is going to be really revved up to prove that last year was an aberration? Well,
I don't think last year was an aberration. I think the better team won that day, and so I don't really look back and I mean, there's no revenge factor here. It's two groups of 20 athletes, both worthy, trying to earn a ride to Duluth and an opportunity to compete for the big prize. So I don't think that history means anything because it's history. And I think, though, what both teams know coming into it, having opened the season with each other, is you're facing a mirror image of yourself, someone who's very capable of beating you and has a lot of the same weapons and talents that you do. So it's going to come down to who executes well, on that given day. And who.
Great, Coach. Thank you very much. Let's hope we're back next week talking about preparations for Duluth.